The Ottawa River flows through Allen and Hardin counties, past farms, neighborhoods, and city streets. It's a living, vital river that shapes our landscape and our lives. The Ottawa River Coalition was formed to preserve and protect the river, and dozens of businesses, industries, governments, organizations, and individuals work together toward that common goal.
The Ottawa River Coalition came together in 1993 with about 15 different interested organizations, agencies, units of government, industries, all interested in tackling this problem called water quality in the Ottawa River and considering doing it together. The mission of the Ottawa River Coalition is to facilitate a balance between the needs of the community and the wise management and use of the river and its watershed as an important natural resource.
I really value this broad spectrum of professionals that come together for a common cause. To me, that is the neatest thing about the coalition.
Those things like air quality and water quality, they're things that we all need as a basic need every day and just for life. And so in keeping that water quality good is really important to the community, and we appreciate that opportunity to work together with community partners.
We have people from all walks of the community, organizations, cities, counties, townships, transportation, park and natural resource groups, conservation groups. And so, I just love having voice and being part of an organization that promotes a diverse group with a like-minded goal of preserving the Ottawa River and our natural resources.
We have a diverse group in that room, and we're able to share varying perspectives, but they're all related to the Ottawa River and how we can work together to solve and improve the Ottawa River.
The greatest value we find is the camaraderie and the association with other individuals that have the same concern for the quality of life and the ecological well-being of the watershed, Ottawa River watershed.
If there's any issues that come up, we seem to be able to pool together the talents both locally and further away to meet the challenges and come up with a good solid resolutions or at least investigations into the issues.
Our members come to this organization with different objectives, with different projects and initiatives. And it is that collective, that diversity of projects that really makes us who we are.
One of the things we've done is put in a new ditch to replace an old poor quality drainage ditch that ran across our property. And we put in a new engineered ditch and included that into a conservation easement for the county to ensure that good quality water is being put into the river.
Back in 1993, LACNIP initiated the cleanup of the Ottawa River in partnership with the Ottawa River Coalition, Keep Allen County Beautiful, and the City of Lima. And we get about 250 volunteers each year that clean about 20 river miles and take out over 10 tons of trash and debris to help keep the Ottawa River flowing and clean.
What we've got here is a water control structure. In this field there is a subsurface drainage that all comes to this point, and year-round normally it would run 24/7 and go into the open ditch and then onto Lake Erie. Now with this structure here, actually the beans are here, but once the crop is off, the producer will shut these gates off and they will hold all subsurface water in this field over the winter months, which will also hold in the nutrients will be phosphorus and nitrates, and it will definitely hold them in the field. Next spring, the producer will open the gates and drain it, and the natural drainage will start working again.
We're really proud of the project here at the roundabout here in Shawnee and Fort Amanda Road. All the stormwater from that project gets drained into one central location, and we have a device that collects all the debris and sediment out of that before it enters the river to help maintain good quality.
Behind us we've got the permeable parking lot that we've done. We'll be able to filter out some of the contaminants from the surface water, reduce the amount of water by storing it under the parking lot, and reducing the amount of water going into the combined sewer, which reduces the amount of overflows into the Ottawa River.
A couple of the projects that we have just right down the street is Blue Jacket, which actually connects a section of the road which is behind Shawnee Road and so on, and also the Fort Shawnee Industrial Drive. Both of those projects, especially the one up the road, involves drainage from a certain area, and we had to, basically with regulations, you have to follow the direction of making sure you control the flow of the water from the parking lots and all those kind of things into the water source.
Over the years, we initially were the authors of the Ottawa River Corridor study, which resulted in the Ottawa River Bike Path and the YMCA being built down on the river. And we are currently involved in the EPA SEP project, the Supplemental Environmental Project, as well as the Phase 2 Ottawa River Restoration Study. So quite a bit of my last 20 years have been spent within a few feet of where we're standing.
So we're really proud of the Ottawa River Riverwalk. That's one of the things that the Park District does to help connect people with the natural environment. In this case, it's the river. So the more you see, the more you interact with, the more you're exposed to the river, the more you think about protecting it.
Allen Soil and Water Conservation District works with contractors, engineers, zoning inspectors, really anyone who has a part in bringing a construction project to life to help ensure that local waterways meet certain quality and quantity standards.
We want to be able to have a dialogue with the people on the site so that we understand where they're coming from, what they're working with, and they understand where we're coming from and the job that we're trying to do. Because ultimately it's both of our responsibilities to ensure the quality of the water in the watershed. Construction drives need to have large-sized stones so that when vehicles of any type are leaving the construction site, the large stones knock the mud off of the tires, trapping it in the drive rather than letting it get out onto the roadway and ultimately washing down a storm drain and ending up in our creeks.
The other BMP that we have here is the silt fence, which we call the perimeter control, obviously to filter out any sediments that would potentially exceed the site. Obviously, when there's no surface protection, that raindrop impacts the ground and it carried the sediments away and deposited in front of the sediment. The filter fabric allows slow release of the water and keeping the sediments back. So supposedly it's 100% sediment free.
Our most important role in this community has been one of helping citizens understand their role in the pollution delivery process and how they as individuals and their individual actions affect water quality. And I believe we've done an excellent job of doing just that.
The education and the awareness of all of our citizens of Allen County and Lima has really been enhanced. This organization has made a lot of strides in making sure that the overall population is more aware of what the river here is all about and what they can do and maybe in some cases not do to impact the river.
That is our number one challenge, is informing the public that you just can't use, say, a sewer drain to discharge motor oils, antifreezes, paint. Those items need to be disposed of properly.
We need to go to schools. We need to put out any kind of literature we can put out, anything we do to educate the people. It takes ages of people to get them to comply with things on their own. Since Ottawa River Coalition has been in business, things has gotten better, but they started from the bottom with the kids.
Farm Bureau has been behind getting farmers certified for the fertilizer application. We've had to be certified for applying chemicals for years and years, and now with Lake Erie and the Grand Lake situations, they've seen the need, and the legislature's passed the bill that says farmers need to be certified to apply fertilizer. The Farm Bureau has been sort of spearheading that legislation along with the training.
We have monthly educational programs that cover a wide variety of topics related to the environment. such as nature photography, or another recent talk was on exotic species in forests in Ohio. We also support a variety of field trips to expose people to habitats in Ohio and also the plants and animals that live there, including the birds. So we're much more than just about birds, but we do like to look at conservation in general.
We participate and are engaged in the River Day that assesses stream health through insects that are in the bed. You know, I think the day is very engaging, very hands-on, a lot of excitement, being outdoors, being in the river, and cultivating a love for our natural resources in the river.
We bring kids out here and we can take a look at the animals and plants that we find here in the river. We do a stream stroll where kids get their nets and we catch crayfish and little minnows and all sorts of different creatures out here. So we do programming out in the river and we really enjoy it.
The Ottawa River Coalition is prepared to meet further challenges to local water quality.
I think the Ottawa River will always represent a challenge to us because it's such a small stream. It's largely intermittent in the summer, meaning it dries up, and so that low flow condition really does create a set of challenges that we're still trying to figure out how to deal with. That low flow is a natural condition now that does represent a set of questions about how we can continue to have it thrive with species that would naturally be there but for those low flow conditions.
The challenge right now as we go forward are non-point sources, which unfortunately as a farmer primarily are falling on the ag community. And it's not, I don't think, so much because we are polluters per se. We're using best management practices that have been developed over decades, but we're finding that as we've cleaned up the point source, there always was an underlying amount of non-point source runoff going into the river at a higher level of nutrients than we thought.
If you remember a few years ago, Toledo had a problem with microcystins. They were toxic algae, and they actually shut their system down for 3 days. And that caused a flurry of activity with the EPA and with new regulation. And now there are tight regulations on algae. And we have to test the raw water and the finished water weekly during the summer months for certain algae.
This nutrient loading can come from a lot of different places and affects the overall water quality. And it's a challenge for us to address that in a meaningful way because it is so dispersed across the entire community and is expensive to do anything about. How do you address it? How do you find the money to address that?
Our greatest challenge is funding. Like most people, we have limited funding, and whenever you add additional regulations for water quality, the costs of those associated to implement and then also to maintain really affect the budget.
The efforts of the Ottawa River Coalition, its partners, and the entire community have had amazing results. The Ottawa River is a healthy river teeming with aquatic life, and most of the river meets EPA standards for clean water.
When I was going to school, there was actually a study that there were 7 miles of the creek that had a total of 4 invertebrate life forms. I mean, there was nothing living in this river at one time, and when I look at how far we've come and the beauty of this river at this time, you know, we've come a long ways.
When I was a kid, the river was, jokingly, Hog Creek and so forth, and everybody seemed to be dumping things in it. And today, as you can see here, it's just beautiful. Here in downtown Lima, we've got the river walk. Everybody just loves this. We wouldn't be where we're at today without the coalition.
People enjoy walking the walk pass. They enjoy getting nice fish out of there, good quality fish. So it's all been, a good deterrent from what it was in the past, and through the years, just, evolving into a better quality for everybody around.
The river's something that everybody should be enjoying, and I think as it gets cleaner, we're going to see more involvement in that, and I think the coalition's been really a huge part of making that happen.
It's exciting, really, to be a part of making the community better for all of us to live in. Not just the air that we breathe and the water that we drink, but to actually have a real part in making this community a good place to live and work and play.
I think it's really an amazing organization. I've only been a part for the past 7 years, but I've seen improvements in the Ottawa River, and I've heard stories about where the Ottawa River was and where it is now. And it's very refreshing to see a lot of different people working together for a common goal, to have a healthy river in our community.
I just think that the Ottawa Coalition is a great organization of people from professional and governmental and organizational groups that are all have the same purpose, to improve the water quality and the environment in our community. So hats off to them.